I'm going to begin today's video by telling you about something that I'm not going to cover and why I'm not going to cover it. So, as you know, Yozoru Mel has been terminated for leaking some form of NDA breaking information to what she refers to as a trusted friend, who then went on to spread the leak themselves, which eventually led to Mel getting terminated. Now, people are speculating as to who that trusted friend may be, and I'm actually not going to discuss that or who people believe that trusted friend is, and you might find it strange for that to be a weird detail for me to suddenly take a moral high ground about whether or not to discuss, but that's simply because I feel like discussing who it is just going to direct more attention towards that person who has no proven connection to this situation, and I don't want to potentially instigate more harassment towards someone who's not even remotely involved as far as I'm aware. The first thing that I will actually cover is what Len posted last month. As you may or may not be aware, on December 31st, she said she has been discharged from the hospital and she's getting the support she needs for her recovery and has since been completely radio silent. And a lot of people are very concerned about Selen because she's been silent for almost a month now, which has got a lot of people worried. Ever since December 31st, I've kind of just been keeping track of this particular post, and I just keep seeing posts kind of go, "I miss you," on January 6th. "Girly, it's been 16 days." And on the 18th, "I am genuinely still worried. This was our last update." Or this comment right here from the 20th, "Me with each passing day of radio silence, for real. Where is she?" And it seems like every couple of days, anytime I check on these quote retweets, somebody new is growing more and more concerned about how long it's been since she's posted. And I've seen a couple of conspiracies pop up as to why she might not be posting, which honestly don't make any sense to me, so I'm not going to feature them. But I'm just going to say that if I got out of the hospital and I was surrounded by friends and family, the last thing I would give a shit about would be Twitter. I, as much as everybody else, would love to hear from her again, but we don't need to come up with a fantastical reason or some conspiracy or some crazy explanation when Occam's razor says the simplest answer is often the correct one. She's probably just healing and taking a much needed detox from social media. So even though many people are concerned, I remain unconcerned. I'm sure she's fine, and whenever she's back to full capacity, I'm confident she will return. And I would strongly dissuade anyone from coming up with any conspiracies, because conspiracies for some reason on the internet get treated like fact, and then as soon as they start getting treated like fact, people start believing in them, and it just becomes a whole mess. At the end of the day, we don't know. Normally, I'm not opposed to people speculating as to what's going on, because generally speculating on what is to come is genuinely a lot of fun, but I feel like in a situation where someone just went through an accident, I feel like people are being a little unreasonable with their speculations and their panic. The next thing I wanted to talk about, I'll cover very briefly. I was hoping to go to Pomu's Twitter to find some new update or some final comment, but it seems that her account has become private. I've seen some people speculate that because the account was privated after one of False ID's videos, that was the reason that it was privated, but I don't think that there is a conspiratorial reason for this. She's graduated, the Twitter is no longer necessary, and just because the timing seems suspicious doesn't mean it is inherently suspicious. And I do apologize if this entire news video is basically me telling you there is no news, stop panicking, but it just feels like now more than ever people are whipping themselves up into a frenzy over absolutely nothing, over no evidence, and I really feel like I should use my platform in any capacity possible to tamp that mindset down as much as possible. The next thing that I want to talk about is that it seems that the members-only livestream where Pomu was expressing frustration at management for denying her some quote-unquote life-changing opportunity has since been privated. And it's not hard for people to come to the conclusion that this is Nijisanji silencing a video that makes them look bad. And it's hard to argue against that because it is legitimately the only video that later got privated. It's one thing to make a conspiracy out of nothing. It's another thing to connect the dots on a conspiracy that feels like there is a lot of room for it to be true. Although I do want to point out this bizarre interaction. So after Kyo made this post, Chris the HoloPro simp who's normally a relatively reliable source of information that I often go to find VTuber news stories, says, "What do you mean Pomu herself requested?" Now, normally whenever Chris makes a claim, he usually backs it up with a screenshot at the minimum to back up what he's saying. So it's genuinely strange to see him say something with zero evidence. He's kind of just throwing that out into the ether, which I find very strange. And I have absolutely no idea where he could be getting that idea from. He says it so confidently, despite the fact that there's no way to prove that that's true, because Pomu has never publicly stated, as far as I'm aware, that she wanted that video privated. And despite the fact that he confidently says Pomu herself requested it, he later says, "The VOD was conveniently made privated as soon as False made its video on it." And it's entirely possible that is what motivated Nijisanji to private the video. We ultimately do not know. I feel like it would make more sense for Nijisanji management to private the video after False made his video than for Pomu herself to reach out to her contact and request it to be taken down. But that's just speculation on my part. The next thing I wanted to do is highlight Takanashi Kiara's response to Pomu's graduation. She spent a couple minutes talking about it, and I felt like I should give her space to talk about this graduation here.
Oh yeah, Pomu. Only found out this week. Yeah, I mean it is pretty recent, the announcement. I didn't talk about it at all yet, huh? I did know about it way longer. So I had a lot of time to mentally prepare for that. And I mean, it's not like we won't talk anymore, you know, we will talk off stream. We might even meet, you know, IRL, you know. So it's fine, I guess. But no, I mean, it's not fine. I was really sad because I'm thinking of the Pomodachis and I'm thinking of her artist. This is one thing that makes me really sad with these like graduations or terminations or whatever. Like, I see the reactions of the artist. Today also I watched a bit of the stream from Meru's mama, artist mama, and she was crying so much. Fucking breaks my heart, man. Pomu's artist too is like really supportive and really likes her a lot. And Paco Papa, of course, was also like an extremely supportive one. Oh man, like they put so much work into the design, you know, and then in future outfits as well, and they really love what they've created, because it's not just an illustration, it's a moving illustration. It seems it's a person. It's more than just one illustration. So it's really painful for them. Breaks my heart seeing their reactions and all that. And even though I can talk to Pomu afterwards, it's still like, I don't know, kind of sad to see a legend go, you know, because she's first generation, and she's Pomu. She's Pomu. Like, where will Pomu be if not there? Where is my fairy gonna go? She's like, a legend. She's so funny and she's so cute, and she always like was from my observations, I would say she's like one of the pillars of her branch, and it's just so devastating. She's a freaking legend, and one thing that's certain is that her legend will be written in the history books, and no one will forget her, and there will definitely be like a big part missing. No one could ever replace Pomu. She left her mark, for sure, for real. I love her so much. Now, the last thing that I would like to cover is referencing the fact that I actually uploaded one of the many copies of Pomu speaking on her unprivated then reprivated live stream. But I don't bring up this video just to advertise this other video. I don't need to advertise it. It's my most successful video I've ever made. Instead, I actually wanted to review some of the comments so that you guys can get a general feel for how the community has been reacting. Now, a lot of people when watching that video really zeroed in on this particular moment where a chatter says, "More opportunities will come," and Pomu says, "I don't think so. Maybe not here, unfortunately." And just talking about what a absolutely devastating line that is. It was, in my opinion, one of the saddest lines in the entire video. Multiple people commented just for the sake of clarity that she unprivated all of her members only streams, which is something I knew before posting the video, but because I uploaded
the original video without any commentary, I didn't really give myself the opportunity to clarify that detail. Because I preferred to let Pomu speak for herself than talk for her, it seems that there was a misunderstanding about whether it was just this video or all of them. So I do apologize for not making that clear, but I just want you to know that was never intended to be willfully misleading. A lot of people made the observation that this video that was unprivated was from 8 months ago, which implies that she's had frustrations with the company for a better part of the year, and if my assumption that it was specifically Nijisanji management that was holding her down, it's likely that there's actually something else that was the straw that broke the camel's back, so to speak. There is likely a series of similar situations that she has gone through with management that ultimately persuaded her to graduate. I have to imagine that the little tidbits that we do get from any specific talent are usually only a fraction of what's actually happening behind the scenes, and it's really hard not to speculate about the wider iceberg of the good, the bad, and the ugly that goes on at this company. A lot of people in my comment section were using this as an opportunity to call Nijisanji a black company. Now, I will specifically not use that word only because multiple talents themselves have asked their fans not to. And I suppose if you go by the dictionary definition, it's not a black company, but I do also want to counter comment that everyone who comments on one of these replies saying, you know, Nijisanji's not a black company, look at the definition. I feel like you're kind of missing the point. You're being pedantic. The people are calling it a black, not because it is literally by dictionary definition a black company, but because it's an insult and an intentional exaggeration because they want to throw shade at a company that is mistreating their employees. And because I've seen this argument go back and forth in my own comment section and on Twitter, you know, is Nijisanji a black company? Are they not a black company? I don't think it matters because it kind of distracts from the part where Nijisanji is just a company with a lot of flaws, and despite people railing against the company constantly, despite talents constantly complaining, despite talents constantly leaving, they're doing absolutely nothing to change. So even if you want to make the argument that they're not a black company, that pedantic detail doesn't matter. They still have problems that they refuse to address. Even if you don't use that term, this commenter right here is still correct. 3 years of hard work and dedication to the company, and this is the way they treat her? Yeah, it is unacceptable. I also wanted to highlight this comment just because I think this comment is absolute bars. I think this comment is hilarious. They could be any color, but they chose to be a black company. That is hilarious. 10 out of 10. Now, the video itself did receive a fair bit of criticism, with some people accusing me uploading this clip as drama baiting, especially considering the fact that I did end the video with the tweet announcing that Pomu had graduated, which is implying, obviously, that this is one of the reasons Pomu might have graduated. But I don't particularly see this as drama baiting. I see this more as like exposing Nijisanji. I don't just want drama for the sake of clicks and views. I want people to know something that they might have previously overlooked. I mean, think about it. How few people are gonna go back and watch all of these unprivated streams and just so happen to come across the fact that Niji is creatively crushing their talents? People deserve to know how a company is treating the people who work for them. So from my perspective, I don't see it as drama baiting, but I am going to hide the @ of this person because I don't want this person to suddenly get overwhelmed with a bunch of angry replies telling them that they're wrong. It's not that serious. I just wanted to take this opportunity to defend myself from the multiple people who were accusing me of drama baiting for posting this video. I think it's something people deserve to know, but if you want to call it drama baiting, I can't stop you. I don't have the energy to argue anymore. This particular person did give a rather detailed criticism of the video that I think warrants review. They said, maybe it's just me, but it feels weird to clip this. Yes, the VOD was unprivated, but that was more so they wouldn't get deleted as the only option, which, as we know, the video was later privated, so that's not the case. This commenter goes on to say, she clearly wanted to keep this to a tighter-knit group because this was her being more vulnerable. If other people find it by watching the VOD, that's fine, it's gonna happen. But to clip it, seemingly with the intent of getting views and capitalizing off her graduation and the drama, feels gross. You're entitled to feel how you feel. I cannot tell you that your feelings are wrong because that doesn't make sense. But the reason I don't feel like it was wrong to post this clip, despite it, yes, very truly, her being vulnerable with her audience, is because people need to know what this company is up to, and people need to hold Nijisanji accountable. They can't keep getting away with this. I'm genuinely angry with this company, and even though nothing I say or do will ever get Nijisanji to change their ways, that's not realistic. Maybe if we raise enough hell about how bad it is at Nijisanji, people will think twice before applying. Maybe people will think twice before renewing their contract because they think it's the only option when there are other options available, such as VShojo or going indie. Like for example, when Mista exposed Nijisanji for only giving livers 2% of their merch revenue, I think people deserved to know that. Sure, it makes the company look bad, you can call it drama baiting if you want, but I think people who are about to spend their money should know that almost none of that money is going to go to the talent. You know, people deserve to know where all of their money and support and attention is going. And as I've said before, companies like Hololive and Nijisanji and VShojo live and die by public reputation. If you bitch about Windows, Bill Gates will never hear you because he does not give a shit about you. Companies like this are reliant on maintaining a good and positive public image. They rely on the internet and their opinion to continue to make money. They have to care, they do care, and they do pay attention. And maybe, just maybe, if enough of us raise enough hell, maybe they'll change. The last thing that I will say on this matter is to reference the John Oliver effect. As many of you may or may not be aware, on the channel HBO, news, commentary, and comedy program called Last Week Tonight, hosted by John Oliver. And according to Wikipedia, Oliver's comedic commentary has been credited with influencing US legislation, regulations, court rulings, and other aspects of US culture. This has been dubbed the John Oliver effect. And this references how every time he references a social or political issue on his show, the sudden wave of support and sudden rush of attention to this issue has real and lasting effects on that issue because he stirs people to give a shit. And there are multiple articles of people documenting how one person speaking out about something wrong with the world has a real life impact. And I would never claim to be some legendary award-winning journalist. I'm not that delusional. But I do think if there are enough people in the news space bringing attention to something over and over and over again, that change is possible. And that is what I want. I don't want drama for views. I don't want drama for money. This channel makes me no money at all. I want change, goddammit. That is all I've ever wanted. I talk about harassment on this channel constantly because I want the people in this space to never forget how damaging it is to launch a campaign of harassment against somebody in the hopes that even one person second guesses getting into some bullshit Twitter argument. If one person changes their behavior because I spoke out against it, I win. I speak out against Nijisanji and any other company that fucks up like Wactor or Akio Air or whatever, because I want that bad press to fall on the shoulders of these companies and have their reputations obliterated. And while maybe not the case for Nijisanji, in many other cases for small corpos, it takes a wave of public backlash to bring attention to their misdeeds to get them to change or oftentimes outright shut down entirely. Enough attention brings change. And if attention is the only way to bring about that change, then fine. Call me an attention whore. I don't care anymore. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please comment down below if you have any opinions about the topics that I covered in this video. You guys all have a great day. Bye, guys!